Have you ever wondered why some days you wake up full of energy, ready to take on the world, while other days you feel drained from morning to night? You eat the same foods, you sleep the same hours, yet your energy levels seem completely unpredictable. The answer lies deep inside every single cell of your body. There are tiny structures there, invisible to the naked eye, that determine whether you feel vibrant or exhausted. They're called mitochondria. And what most people don't realize is that when you fast, you're not just burning fat. You're actually building more of these tiny energy factories. This process is called mitochondrial biogenesis. It's a scientific term that simply means the creation of new mitochondria. And the science behind it might change how you think about every meal you skip. Before we dive in, this is educational content, not medical advice. If you have any health conditions, please consult your doctor before trying any fasting protocol. So let's start with the basics. What exactly are mitochondria and why should you care about them? Inside almost every cell of your body, there are small structures responsible for producing more than 90% of the energy your body needs to function. From thinking to running, from breathing to digesting food, all of it requires energy. And that energy comes from mitochondria. Here's a number that might surprise you. A single liver cell can contain more than 2,000 mitochondria. Heart muscle cells have even more because the heart never stops working and needs constant energy. Your brain, which makes up only about 2% of your body weight, consumes roughly 20% of your total energy, all powered by mitochondria. Athletes tend to have more mitochondria in their muscle cells than sedentary people. This is one reason they can sustain intense physical activity for longer periods. The number and quality of your mitochondria directly influence how much energy you have available throughout the day. Now, how do these tiny structures actually produce energy? The process works like this. Mitochondria take glucose and fatty acids from the food you eat, combine them with oxygen, and through a series of chemical reactions, produce a molecule called ATP. ATP is the energy currency of your cells. Every movement, every thought, every heartbeat uses ATP. Here's what makes mitochondria so important. Without them, each molecule of glucose would only produce about 2 ATP. But with mitochondria, that same glucose molecule produces around 32 ATP. That's 15 times more energy. Without mitochondria, we wouldn't have enough energy to maintain complex brain function or sustain muscle movement. We simply couldn't exist as we are. And here's something fascinating about where mitochondria come from. About 2 billion years ago, our ancient cellular ancestors engulfed bacteria that were very efficient at producing energy. Instead of digesting these bacteria, the cells formed a partnership with them. Over billions of years of evolution, those bacteria became what we now call mitochondria. The evidence for this is remarkable. Mitochondria have their own DNA separate from the DNA in your cell's nucleus. This mitochondrial DNA is inherited only from your mother, and mitochondria replicate by dividing just like bacteria do. This ancient origin explains why mitochondria respond to fasting the way they do. It's a survival mechanism that has been preserved across billions of years of evolution. So why does the number and quality of your mitochondria matter so much? People with more healthy mitochondria tend to have more abundant energy and better endurance. They recover faster from physical activity. Their cells function more efficiently. On the other hand, when damaged mitochondria accumulate in your cells, several problems arise. They produce less energy. They generate more waste products called reactive oxygen species or free radicals. These free radicals can damage other parts of your cells and contribute to aging and disease. Research has shown that mitochondrial decline is associated with aging, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. The connection is clear. Healthy mitochondria mean a healthier you. The good news is that your body has the ability to build new mitochondria, and fasting is one of the most powerful ways to activate this process. So, how exactly does fasting unlock this hidden cellular power? It all begins with a brilliant biological strategy. When food becomes scarce, your body shifts from growth mode into repair and optimization mode. This calorie restriction activates critical molecular pathways that essentially flip the biogenesis switch inside your cells. Let's trace this journey step by step from the initial hunger signal all the way to the creation of new mitochondria. In the first 0 to 12 hours of fasting, as you stop eating, glucose levels in your blood begin to drop. Your cells sense this energy shortage through a protein called AMPK, which stands for AMP activated protein kinase. Think of AMPK as your cell's fuel gauge. When fuel runs low, AMPK sounds the alarm. It's an ancient cellular sensor that has been conserved across evolution. It exists in yeast in worms and in humans. The fact that this same molecule exists in such different organisms tells us something important. This is a fundamental survival mechanism that life has preserved for hundreds of millions of years. When AMPK is activated, it initiates a cascade of responses. It shuts down energy-consuming processes that aren't immediately necessary, like cell growth and fat storage. It ramps up processes that generate energy and repair cellular damage. It signals the cell to start using stored fat as fuel. This is the first domino in the chain that leads to mitochondrial biogenesis. Between 12 and 24 hours of fasting, AMPK activates a crucial partner called SIRT1, also known as sirtuin 1. Sirtuin is an enzyme belonging to a family often called longevity genes. Research has shown that sirtuins are connected to lifespan extension in multiple species. Why are they called longevity genes? Studies on various organisms from yeast to mice have shown that increased sirtuin activity is associated with longer lifespan. Calorie restriction, which has been shown to extend life in many species, works partly through activating these sirtuins. SIRT1 requires a molecule called NAD+ to function. NAD+ is a coenzyme found in all living cells, and it plays a critical role in energy metabolism. During fasting, NAD+ levels in your cells increase. This rise in NAD+ wakes up SIRT1 and allows it to begin its work. SIRT1 then adjusts various factors that help your cells shift into repair and optimization mode. The partnership between AMPK and SIRT1 is beautifully coordinated. AMPK senses the energy shortage and begins the response. SIRT1 amplifies and extends that response. Together, they prepare the cell for what comes next. Now comes the critical step. When AMPK and SIRT1 work together, they activate something called PGC1 alpha. This is where the real magic happens. In 1998, a researcher named Bruce Spiegelman at Harvard was studying brown fat tissue, the type of fat that generates heat to keep you warm. During his research, he discovered a molecule that seemed to control whether cells produced more mitochondria or not. He named it PGC1 alpha. Spiegelman later said in an interview, "When we discovered PGC1 alpha, people weren't even looking for something like that." But there must be many more dynamic molecules that can switch cell biology that have yet to be discovered. Today, PGC1 alpha is recognized as the master regulator of mitochondrial biogenesis. It's found in tissues with high energy demands, particularly in muscle, heart, brain, and brown fat tissue. When AMPK and SIRT1 unlock PGC1 to 1 alpha, it sends a clear signal to your cells. Start building more mitochondria. What makes PGC1 alpha so powerful is that it doesn't just do one thing. It coordinates an entire program of cellular changes. It increases the expression of genes needed for mitochondrial proteins. It enhances the capacity for oxidative metabolism. It improves the cell's ability to handle oxidative stress. It's like a conductor directing an entire orchestra of cellular processes. This isn't just about flipping a switch. There's an entire complex network at work. The intricate choreography of enzymes and proteins is what truly enhances your cellular power, going far beyond simply using existing energy. Let's follow the journey from that initial signal to the actual creation of new mitochondria. When PGC1 alpha is activated, it doesn't directly build mitochondria itself. Instead, it awakens transcription factors proteins that control which genes get turned on or off. The key players here are RF1 and NRF2, which stand for nuclear respiratory factors. Think of these as the architects directing the assembly of new mitochondrial components. There's also TFAM, which stands for transcription factor A, mitochondrial. This factor is especially important because it controls the replication of mitochondrial DNA. Here's how the process unfolds. PGCN1 alpha activates RF1 and NRF2. These factors then activate genes in the cell nucleus that code for mitochondrial proteins. At the same time, TFM is produced and enters existing mitochondria to replicate mitochondrial DNA. The result is that proteins from both the nucleus and the mitochondria are created and assembled into new mitochondria. Between 24 and 48 hours of fasting, this construction process reaches its peak. New mitochondria don't appear instantly. It takes time. Mitochondrial DNA is duplicated. New proteins are synthesized. New mitochondrial membranes are formed. The electron transport chain where ATP is actually produced is assembled. During this window, existing mitochondria also get upgraded. They become more efficient at producing energy. But here's something important. It's not just about making more mitochondria. It's also about making better ones. Your body has a quality control system. Damaged or dysfunctional mitochondria are identified and removed through a process called mitophagy. This is essentially your cells digesting and recycling old broken down mitochondria. In 2023, researchers at UCLA made a surprising discovery. They found that fasting increases mitochondrial fission, which is the process of mitochondria splitting apart. This contradicted earlier studies done on cells grown in laboratory dishes. The researchers explained that in a living organism, cells interact with each other in ways that don't happen in isolated cell cultures. This increased splitting during fasting helps mitochondria adapt better to burning fat for fuel when food isn't available. The end result of all this: not just more mitochondria, but healthier, more efficient mitochondria. So what does all this mean for you in your daily life? Understanding the science is one thing, but what does this translate to in practical terms? Let's look at the real impacts. First, improved energy. When your mitochondrial density increases, your metabolic efficiency improves dramatically. Imagine having abundant energy throughout the day. What does this look like in real life? More stable energy throughout the day. Less of that afternoon slump where you feel like you need coffee just to function. Faster recovery after physical activity. Better ability to handle stress. Improved physical performance, whether that's in the gym playing sports or simply keeping up with your kids. Many people report that after a few weeks of practicing intermittent fasting, they no longer depend on caffeine to maintain their energy levels. The reason is straightforward. Healthier mitochondria produce ATP more efficiently and generate fewer harmful byproducts. Second, brain function. Your brain is the most energy-hungry organ in your body. It consumes about 20% of your total energy despite being only 2% of your body weight. Healthy mitochondria in brain cells mean improved cognitive function. Research has shown several benefits. Better ability to focus and concentrate. Improved memory. Reduction in brain fog, that feeling of mental cloudiness that makes it hard to think clearly. Additionally, fasting increases production of something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This protein supports the growth of new nerve cells and the connections between them. Third, long-term benefits. Here's where the science becomes truly compelling. Mitochondrial decline is one of the hallmarks of aging. As we get older, our mitochondria tend to become less numerous and less efficient. They accumulate damage. They produce less ATP and more harmful byproducts. This mitochondrial decay contributes to the fatigue, weakness, and cognitive decline that often accompany aging. Maintaining healthy mitochondrial density can slow the aging process at the cellular level. Studies in animals have shown that activating PGC1 alpha extends lifespan. While human studies are ongoing, the evidence strongly suggests that mitochondrial health is a key factor in how well we age. Mitochondrial dysfunction is also connected to many chronic diseases: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Even certain cancers have all been linked to problems with mitochondrial function. By improving mitochondrial health through fasting, you may reduce your risk of developing these conditions. This makes fasting a truly comprehensive health strategy, not just a weight loss technique. Now, an important note. Fasting is not a cure-all. It's not a magic solution that fixes everything. It's a strategy that supports overall health. It doesn't replace medical treatment when you need it. So how can you apply this knowledge safely? Are you ready to harness this cellular potential? Let me share some practical information about how to integrate fasting into your routine in a way that aligns with the science we've discussed. There are different approaches to fasting that can stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis. Intermittent fasting is the most accessible. The 16-8 method, where you fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8-hour window, is the most popular. This is enough to activate AMPK and start the signaling cascade. It's suitable for beginners and can be practiced daily. Longer fasts of 24 to 48 hours activate PGC1 alpha and the biogenesis process more powerfully. These should be done less frequently, perhaps once or twice a month, and require proper preparation and understanding. Here's the key point. You don't need extended fasts to get benefits. Even daily intermittent fasting activates these pathways to a meaningful degree. However, fasting isn't appropriate for everyone. You should not fast or should only do so under medical supervision if you are pregnant, or breastfeeding if you have a history of eating disorders, if you have type 1 diabetes or are taking insulin, if you are underweight with a BMI below 18.5, or if you have chronic kidney disease. Watch for these warning signs that mean you should stop fasting immediately. Severe dizziness that doesn't go away after drinking water and electrolytes. Rapid heartbeat or unusual heart palpitations. Confusion or severe difficulty concentrating. Fainting or feeling like you're about to faint. If any of these symptoms persist for more than 30 minutes despite proper hydration, stop fasting and consult a healthcare professional. To optimize the benefits of fasting, stay properly hydrated and maintain electrolyte balance with adequate salt, potassium, and magnesium. Consider combining fasting with light exercise, as physical activity also activates PGC1 alpha. Make sure you're getting proper nutrition during your eating windows. Get enough sleep, as sleep quality also affects mitochondrial health. If you're new to fasting, start gradually. Begin with 12 hours and slowly extend the fasting period as your body adapts. Remember, fasting isn't about deprivation. It's about activating the upgrade program that your body already has built in. By understanding the mechanism, you can use it safely and effectively. Let's bring this all together. Mitochondria are the core energy source of your body. Without them, complex life as we know it wouldn't be possible. They are truly the invisible engines that power everything you do. Fasting activates a signaling cascade that flows from AMPK to SIRT1 to PGC1 alpha to NRF1 and NRF2, ultimately leading to the creation of new mitochondria. Each step in this cascade amplifies the signal, creating a powerful response to the simple act of not eating. This isn't theory. This is science that has been demonstrated through research at Harvard, UCLA, and leading research centers around the world. The practical results are more energy, better health, and slower aging. Every time you fast, you're not just not eating. You're sending a signal to billions of cells in your body. Build, repair, optimize. Your body is more intelligent than you might realize. It still remembers how to respond to periods without food. This is a survival mechanism preserved across millions of years of evolution. Our ancestors didn't have constant access to food. They went through regular cycles of feast and famine, and their bodies adapted to thrive in both states. In our modern world of constant food availability, we've lost touch with this ancient rhythm. Fasting is a way to reconnect with it. It's not about deprivation or punishment. It's about giving your body the signal it needs to activate its built-in repair and optimization programs. Knowledge is power. By understanding how your body works, you can unlock a new source of energy and vitality. Here's a question for you. Have you ever noticed your energy levels change after trying intermittent fasting? Share your experience in the comments below. And here's something to think about. Some researchers believe everyone should practice some form of fasting. Others say the benefits are overstated. What's your take? Is fasting essential for mitochondrial health, or are there other ways to achieve similar benefits? Let me know what you think. If this video helped you understand your body better, please like and subscribe to the channel. We have more content on biological optimization waiting for you. If you know someone who practices fasting but doesn't understand why it works, share this video with them. They'll finally understand what's happening inside their cells. In our next video, we'll explore what happens to your brain when you fast. The results might surprise you. Remember this: a period without food doesn't weaken you. It reveals the strength and intelligence your body has had all along. You're not just skipping meals. You're upgrading your cellular machinery, one mitochondrion at a time.